Unification, unification, unification. That's the name of the game. Unification trumps all. This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News. And I got another video for you concerning Canelo Alvarez and Daniel Jacobs. May 4th will be the date. T-Mobile Arena will be the venue. Okay. Of course, we know T-Mobile Arena was where the classic showdown between Canelo Alvarez and Gennady Golovkin took place, okay? And, you know, this is no exception. We have Danny Jacobs, the IBF champion, taking on the WBC and the WBA champion, Canelo Alvarez, okay? And, you know, this is big. This is signed, sealed, delivered. You know, Canelo Alvarez, of course, is the A side on top of the home style or the home team advantage, okay? Well, Danny Jacobs has a lot to prove. First off, if you didn't know, Danny Jacobs hasn't fought in Vegas since his first loss, okay? And he only has 2 of them. And it was controversial to me, you know what I mean? But I guess if you're Deontay Wilder, it's not. Because, you know, I did a video about what happened to Daniel Jacobs. He got caught with a flush right hand by Dmitry Pitrug, right? Out of Russia. And he went down, tried to get up, but was not allowed to by the referee Bird, okay? Adelaide Bird's husband, the referee. I know her name, but I don't know his, whatever. So, you know, it might be a bad memory or something or it might motivate Danny Jacobs because, you know, he is the miracle man for a reason. He did beat cancer. So, you know, this could just really energize him to do a better job, to eradicate, to take the thorn out of his side from what happened the first time. You know, and I look back at that. I'm like, you know what? He probably thinks this was a bunch of bullshit. So I'm going to erase this. I'm going to right that wrong by going in there and defeating Canelo Alvarez. It's not out of the picture because, see, here's the thing about Canelo. Canelo is a very good fighter. I think he is getting better. You know, I look at his fights, you know, but it's hard to say, too, because I know he looks impressive. He looks better. His counters are getting sharper. You know what I mean? His combinations, his explosiveness. But it's like, think about it. He has only fought at middleweight twice, and that's against the same opponent. Fighting Golovkin is not the same as fighting Danny Jacobs, you know, or you know, the Andrade or Billy Joe Saunders or David Lemieux even. You know, I think he'd have probably an easy time with David Lemieux, but I feel that Canelo's in uncharted waters too. And just like it might be a little pressure on Danny Jacobs, the same pressure applies to Canelo Alvarez. You know, he is one of the cash cows of the boxing lineup. Okay, he signed the biggest deal in boxing, right? $365 million. That's $1 million a day. You know, so he has a lot to prove. He has to put on a show. If he looks mediocre in there, if he loses, what is the zone gonna do? They got all the money. They vested in this guy. They backed this guy by looking at the Gennady Golovkin fight. And the equation is, it's like, okay, well, you got a guy that Gennady Golovkin beat in a tough fight versus Canelo Alvarez beating Gennady Golovkin in a tough fight. You know, the second fight was a lot tougher than the first, but you know, it just shows you what type of style, how will these guys match up stylistically? You know, what will they bring to the table? Will Canelo Alvarez's home team backing, okay, his advantage, will that affect the judges at all? You know, will that be a decisive winner? This is not like fighting Austin Trout. You know what I mean? This is fighting someone bigger, taller, stronger, you know, hits harder, you know, because Danny Jacobs is a force to be reckoned with. He has speed. He is aggressive, too. I think it's going to be a magnificent fight, and I look forward to it. You know, T-Mobile Arena, let's fill that sucker to the brim. you know, because this fight is happening. These guys are the elite guys, both champions. Unification, like I said, trumps all. And we got to see who's the unified champion. See, here's the thing. These guys, there might not be a Gennady Golovkin in September unless that's the targeted fight, which it looks like it's going to be. Let's just face it. You know, because we look at the trend of Canelo Alvarez's career, and the politics that be won't allow certain things to happen. Let's go back a little bit, okay? Everyone wanted to see, before Gennady Golovkin and Canelo, what was the fight that people wanted to see? Cotto, Canelo. Remember that? That was the fight that everyone was looking forward to. And they're like, oh man, Miguel Cotto and Canelo. Because remember, Canelo was supposed to fight Cotto before Austin Trout upset him. So then he ended up fighting Austin Trout because Austin Trout, you know, won that opportunity when he upset Cotto. Okay. So still, they, you know, Cotto lost, you know, he fell through on his end. But when it comes to someone that has the backing like Canelo, he fought Lara, and everybody's like, shit, Lara, you know, Lara, this is a tough fight. We think Lara was going to win. No, that wasn't going to happen because they weren't going to allow something to get in the way, especially a Cuban fighter that is tricky, a tricky southpaw Cuban fighter that has no backing, right? They're not going to allow that to happen like it happened to Cotto, because that fight has to happen because a lot of money is at stake, okay? This is no exception. Now, let's cross-compare that to this. Danny Jacobs, another tough opponent, a champion, mind you. If this fight goes to the wire, if it goes balls to the wall, let's say it's no knockdowns, let's just say it's just a high-impact fight. A side belongs to Canelo Alvarez. You know, he's at home, right? He's in Vegas. So it's like, who do you think is going to be favored? Especially a targeted fight that is bound to happen with Gennady Golovkin in September, right? What do you think? How do you think this is going to go? See, that's the thing about these type of fights. If you have a targeted fight that is worth making millions, especially on a new platform, I'm just going to leave you guys with that. I'm not going to answer that question. I want you guys to answer for me, because the fight is still intriguing. The fight looks like it's going to be a high-action fight. Will Danny Jacobs and Rozier, his trainer, fight fire with finesse like they did when they fought Golovkin? Or will they fight fire with fire? You know what I mean? Like the fiery, red-headed El Cinnamon, Canelo. So you guys tell me. But anyway, the venue has been set May 4th, Cinco de Mayo weekend, T-Mobile Arena. These guys are getting it on. Unification trumps all. Please subscribe, guys. Tell me what you think. And you guys been counterpunched. Peace.